Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show, coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined via Skype this week by my good friends, Jackie Gailey.
Hi, everybody.
From the DVC store, Mr. Jerry Saito.
Hello, everyone.
And, of course, associate producer for the DIS Unplugged, Mr. Corey Fiasconaro.
Welcome home.
Or as he's known to his friends, Fiasco.
That's it.
Just Fiasco. Welcome, folks. We are recording this on May 27th, 2020, and today was just announced when the parks and some of the resorts were going to be reopening. So we know now that the DVC resorts in Hilton Head and Vero Beach will be reopening on June 15th with limited capacity. This is true for all the reopenings. I don't know exactly what that capacity is, but it is limited. The Walt Disney World DVC resorts will be reopening on June 22nd. The rest of the Walt Disney World resorts will be opening on July 11th. And also on June 22nd, Fort Wilderness Campgrounds is going to be reopening. So we now know, we have our dates. So I wanted this discussion today to be about rentals and what the state of the rental market is right now. Obviously, that was severely interrupted by COVID-19. For those who may not be familiar, if you're watching this for the first time and you're not familiar with what we're talking about, DVC members will often put their points up for rent through a company like DVCstore.com. And then, they'll say, okay, I've got 200 points I want to rent out. And then somebody comes in and says, okay, I want, a week at the Poly or whatever may be available. And then the DVC store coordinates making that reservation. You pay a certain price per point for that reservation. That almost always works out to be less, and sometimes significantly less, than what you would pay if you were to rent that directly from Disney yourself. And then you have a Disney resort reservation. And this is great for if you need larger accommodations, right? If you don't want to get 2 or 3 hotel rooms, but you can get a 2-bedroom for less than it would cost for those 3 rooms and have your party all together in that room. That is some of the many advantages of renting points. You can add the dining plan to these reservations. DVC Store also has what we call pre-booked reservations, that members have gone out and already booked the dates and the resort and the room type. And if you like it, you can go ahead and just rent that out. Those are available on DVC Store's website. We'll have links to all that in the show notes. And of course, DVC Store is the official sponsor of this show and all of our DVC content, which includes DVCfan.com and the DVC section on the DIS, wdwinfo.com, and on disboards.com. So those are my plugs. But Jerry, let's talk right now about where the rental market is. What are you seeing right now?
Actually, a lot of rebooking for, now the new dates that have been announced. So some of the members, or I should say renters that were looking to come, in early June, maybe pushing their dates back. But in terms of demand, I think people were waiting for Disney's announcement. That announcement's come. And I'm actually out of the office, obviously working remotely, but out of the office today, not checking emails, but I've been getting a ton of emails with renters now looking to come. So things are starting to get pretty busy with people now knowing what the dates are for openings and what to expect with Disney's reopening. And so things have turned the corner, so to speak, since Disney's been closed.
Well, a point I was making earlier offline was that I don't remember the last time I was able to go look at Bay Lake Tower for a reservation 3 weeks out and grab a 1-bedroom theme park view. The availability right now, the availability across property in June and July is phenomenal. Now, what that's going to look like by the time this show goes up, I don't know. I really don't know. But at this point, I mean, through the summer, it's wide open. Now you get into the fall, it's a much different story because a lot of people just move their reservations into the fall. So, and I think, right now the advantage is that, for some people like myself, I'm going to be at Bay Lake Tower before the parks are open, but I'm fine with that because I'm good with a resort only stay, right? I just want to be there. I just want to be there and be in that environment again. And, yes, there are restrictions. You got to wear masks. You've got to do social distancing. All good with that. All good with it. Because I'm going to have a 1-bedroom with a view of the Magic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. So I'm good right there. And I'm going to be walking distance to the bacon and eggs dish over at the Wave. So I'm a happy man.
That's the best part of the whole thing.
I'm easy to please. I'm easy to please, really. But, once the parks do reopen, they are going to be on a reservation system. Now, how that's going to work with resort guests, I got to assume resort guests are going to be getting priority.
Right.
For that. That has not been announced. I don't want to say that's official. As of the point that we are recording this, that has not been announced. All they said was there would be a reservation system in place because they are limiting capacity into the theme parks. July 11th, Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom will be opening. July 15th will be Hollywood Studios and Epcot. And which I was surprised. I thought they would have kept Epcot closed longer to make up some of the construction time that has been lost. But, I was wrong on that. I was wrong on the date they were going to reopen. So on some of these, I was wrong. But I think that if you are able to get a room on site and a reservation into the parks, we're going to be looking at this summer. I think we're going to be looking about 25% capacity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable wearing a mask in a theme park in July in Florida. But you're not going to be elbow to elbow with everyone on the planet, as it usually would be in July at the Magic Kingdom in Florida. So I think there are some real opportunities here for a different kind of experience.
Yep. And I think,
go ahead.
sorry, I think keep an eye out in the upcoming days and weeks for these announcements of the resorts and what that's going to look like. I was just talking before we went live here, well, not live, but about resort-only stays. We were talking about how we've been talking about that a lot even before the shutdowns. And the resorts do actually have a number of very social distancing friendly experiences. The one that I was talking about specifically was the Wanyama Safari at Animal Kingdom Lodge. That's something that just you and your party pretty much can experience. A safari on the savannah at Animal Kingdom Lodge by yourself. That's really cool. And there's obviously boating around Bay Lake. And of course, we don't know exactly what.
Oh, you just gave me a great idea. One more thing to look forward to when I go.
Boating. If you haven't gone boating on Bay Lake, it's an experience. It's so fun. And they haven't told us like this is what's going to be open. This is what's not going to be open at the resorts yet. So that's still something we need to wait to find out. But those are some of the things that I think we can definitely. They're very social distancing friendly. So I would expect that they would be available. And there are some really fun things that most people probably haven't done on their Disney vacations yet.
Now, Jerry, how is it looking for people putting their points up for rent right now?
Well, we were waiting for Disney to make the announcement of when they're going to reopen. So we do have a good amount of inventory of points and members who are looking to rent them out. So the good news is if you are looking to come, we should have the available points to book that reservation. And even if it's 11 months out or 7 months out from now, again, we do have a good amount of inventory. So availability of points is good. We have some points available.
So yeah, that's another good point that even if you're not looking to come right now, but getting some of those harder to grab reservations, 11 months out, we see, just on my travel agency side, I'm a co-owner in Dreams Unlimited Travel. We see a lot of reservations coming in right now for 2021. And we're expecting to see a boost in reservations for 2020. But a lot of people, and I'm telling you, we're going to start having availability issues for 2021 a lot earlier than we would normally. So this is also a good strategy for that. Like, if you want that theme park view at Bay Lake Tower, usually it's a good idea, depending on what time you're traveling. It's a very good idea to grab that at the 11-month mark, or at least within that 7 to 11-month window where only points at Bay Lake Tower can be used for that. At 7 months, anybody's points can be used for that. But that window, there's that 4-month window that's only for points contracted at Bay Lake Tower. And I think that's what you're talking about, Jerry, right? Those 11
exactly
months.
Right. Yeah.
So Jackie, let's get you in here a little bit. What do you think about all this?
Well, I'm really excited because I think that a lot of us trust Disney because of the way they've handled this entire situation from the very start. And I love that today is the 27th of May, and we are looking at not opening parks until July. There's a lot of time between now and then for them to do a lot of things, to put a lot of procedures in place. I trust that when they're saying they're going to be ready to open, I think, now this is just me saying this now, I think that I would be comfortable going, knowing that they are working very hard to make sure that these rules that they're creating now are going to be able to be enforced. I like to kind of watch and see what's going on and how people are reacting. And it's been an interesting morning seeing the World of Disney open today and how things are all going there. It's rather interesting. So I think that by the time the parks open and the resorts open, Disney's really going to have their fine tuning on this and how they're going to handle it. So it's exciting.
Well, yeah, and it's a really good point, Jackie. I've said this many, many times that, and look, anybody who watches any number of shows that I'm on knows I do not kiss Disney's ass. I tell you exactly what I think, and I have criticized them on any number of things over the years. So when I say this with my whole heart. We've criticized Disney many times for what we call the money grabs, right? The overcharging, the overcrowding, the selling too many tickets to a Halloween party, to how the prices go up on tickets and things like that. But on this issue, on the COVID-19 issue, every decision they made was made with an abundance of caution in the best interests of their guests and their cast members, not their bottom line. And this is just, this decision today that they're going to start opening the parks on July 11th is just further proof of that. Universal's opening on June 1st. I believe SeaWorld is going to be June 15th. Disney is opening more than a month after their competitors. Why?
And that actually gives me the chills, really.
Well, the reason that they're doing it is they want to make sure it's safe. They want to make sure they have this down. They want to make sure their cast members know what to do. They want to make sure all the infrastructure they need to support this new normal for however long it may go on is in place. That is why I had absolutely no hesitation booking a reservation for myself today at Bay Lake Tower for June 22nd. Because if they're saying that's when they're opening, they have shown me repeatedly with a number of things they've done with this that I can trust them, that they're not going to be doing this irresponsibly.
Yeah. And that's because, let's face it, even if things open, I mean, if people don't feel comfortable, they're not going to go.
Oh. And
they have to instill.
no, go
They
ahead,
have
Jen.
to instill. Oh, am I? Is it okay?
It is now. Yeah, you froze up, but you're good.
Oh, oops, sorry. They have to instill this safety in people's minds to know that they're going to be okay to go there. And so, it's kind of, it's something that they can only do so much. So in order to make people feel safe, but until the people actually feel safe and like things are going to be okay, they're not going to show up. So I have the utmost respect that they are not just saying, let's open this as fast as we can. No, they're going to make sure that they can handle it. And even yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw, but pictures of Disney Springs, we're talking wide angle shots of a big chunk of Disney Springs in one photo with, 3, 4, maybe 5 people in it. And that spoke volumes to me. They're open, but there's hardly anybody there.
Well, I know
it's a
this
little
morning.
different today.
I know this morning with the opening of Disney's, with the World of Disney, that the parking garages were at capacity for what they will allow by like 10:30 in the morning.
They were,
and so they're doing this responsibly as far from everything I can see, and how they've reopened Disney Springs and what they did. I think they're using a lot of the model of Shanghai as we predicted they would, in terms of how they approach opening these. But so the opportunities there, if you are comfortable venturing out. I realize for a lot of people, that trip requires, it's not just about trusting Disney. You got to trust your airline too. Because for a lot of people, those trips require getting on an airplane. And I think that, the opportunity exists for a unique experience at Walt Disney World. And it's going to be a very limited window where that I would like to see what the Magic Kingdom looks like at 25% capacity, and it not be a special ticket after hours event.
Right, in broad daylight. Can you imagine how cool?
No, I can't. That's why I would I'm still on the fence about the theme park, about whether or not, A, do I want to take that reservation away from somebody else? B, I got to see how I feel. I'm comfortable going to the resorts right now. I'm comfortable doing that because I know I can keep a distance and I can be comfortable without putting anybody at risk. I still have to wait to see how I feel about the theme parks.
Well, so my thought is with this reservation system, that's something that I really like. And of course, again, we're awaiting further details on what exactly that'll look like. But in my head, I was thinking of a serious challenge that they're going to have is social distancing within the attractions and the lines. However, if you have a specific reservation, I wonder if that's going to include a specific time period to where you could go on certain attractions. So maybe, like, for example, you get a reservation for Magic Kingdom on a Thursday, and in that reservation it specifies you can go on Mine Train in this window. Kind of like a built-in fast pass to your daily reservation. Again, this isn't something that they said they were going to do. I'm just thinking that sounds like how I would imagine it looking like.
Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I mean, I'm sure as we get closer to opening, we're gonna see more. There'll be more announcements coming. I do want to pivot over to Jerry real quick before we wrap. Jerry, you have young kids. You have a young family. What's your feelings on this?
I mean, I do think that going to the park might be. I'm kind of like Jackie. I want to see what happens. I want to see how Disney handles it. I want to see how people respond to it. I mean, I'll probably watch the Twitter feeds when they actually open. I'll be monitoring all the different sites to see how people react to it. So I don't know if I'd take my kids yet because I just want to see how it goes. But as far as the resort stay, I mean, honestly, I'm a DVC member. That's what I do with my DVC points is I go and do resort stays. I rarely go to the parks when I'm at the DVC resorts because I just enjoy the resorts. My son wants to go to Star Wars. He keeps asking about it. So I'd love to take him. And I'm a big fan of Star Wars, if you can't tell. So I do want to go, but I just kind of want to see what how Disney does it. Going back to the comment about safety and how Disney does things. That's the one huge draw for me to go to Disney is I feel safe at Disney. I always have. I don't have to worry about problems. Disney's very good about any potential problems. They resolve them, and you feel like you're in a very safe, comfortable bubble, and you don't have to worry about a lot of different problems. So I know Disney's going to make me feel safe when I'm there, but I just kind of want to see how it goes first.
Yeah. And like I said, if you're interested in renting points or renting out your points, dvcstore.com, or you can give them a call at 1-800-550-6493, and they can help you out. And that is going to do it for this week's episode of our show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with you again next week with another edition of the DVC Show. Have a great week, folks.